Now we're getting to the ones that I showed you guys in the, when I shared them online with you guys. This is one of the cards. I absolutely love it. This is from the add-ons. So I thought this was gorgeous. And the person I seen do these for the very first time was Melinda Hart. Melinda Hart. And that is who I seen do these for the first time. So, and that's where I seen it, so that's who I'm going to give credit to. I don't know where else it would be. So let's get started on this card. I did a lot of the work on this, but there are some tips and tricks that I did because God bless Melinda, but she did a lot of fussy cutting and I was not. I was doing fuss and cutting, but I wasn't going to do as much as she did. So I'll explain that as we get going here. Okay, so you need a card base. This is the one that I'm using, and it comes out of the add-on kit. Then you need a scrap piece of paper, and the stamp set that I used for this one. I forgot to get it out here, and I have it's sitting off to the side. Oops. Let me get it here. It's Coffee with Friends. And this is the stamp set that I used for this card. So we're going to take the girls here. And I end up taking the black Memento ink. And I'm stamping it up. And then I'm just going to stamp it on this piece of paper. Like so. I'm not going to color this whole thing, but I am going to tell you some little tricks. And I'll zoom in to show you. Oops. Good thing I'm not going to color the whole thing because I just stamped that dropped. But, well, you know what? I'll just flip it over. That happens, you know? That happens because I can use this on another card. Okay, flip it over. I'm just going to show you some tips and tricks that I did when I was coloring this and to help you out. And I'm going to zoom you in so you guys can see. Okay, right here. So, one thing that I did was I took the copper clay light. This is dark. Where's the light one? Here's the light one. Copper clay light. And you see how this is copper clay? Right, oops. Right here. This is copper clay. And that's where this is going to be sitting. See how I colored? Now this one I did in the dark. But this one, when I did it in the light and it came out much better. So take your copper clay light and all these parts right here, color them in. Now the lady that did this originally, she cut them out. I wasn't going to fussy cut all that out. So color that in, and then also take your brush end, the brush end here, and color in these little fine spots. This is far away from me, so I can't see to color very good, but color them in. And it'll make your life easier when you do that. Also, another tip, take your black and these tiny little spots, oops, use the brush end. I don't usually say that because I usually like the other end, but this is such a tiny, delicate work. You want to use the brush end in some of these places. And color in right here. That black spot and this spot right here. In black, and then I colored in the edges of these in black, and I did it on both ends so it didn't like go through. So any place that is kind of tiny like that you don't want to cut out, that's how I did it. I colored it in, and then you would color the rest of it in. I'm going to tell you the colors that I used rather than coloring the whole card. On the jeans, I use Night of Navy Light. For their skin, I used my favorite SU800 because that's the one I like. And then for her shirt, I used Granny Apple Green Light. And I used Poppy Parade Light for her shirt, her bandana, and her shoes. For the bench, I ended up using Pecan Light and Dark. And then I ended up using dark gray granite on the little metal poles here and on the bottom of her shoes. I use black on the top part of her shoes. Her hair is done in the light peacock. Hers is done in black. And then I just colored the lids in the smoky or gray granite light. And then there's a little wrap like around their hands that you could barely see there. I colored that in the peacock light. So that's how I colored this in. Now I want to give you a tip on cutting it out. If you're going to fussy cut this by hand, start up here. Start up around the hands because you have more to hold on to when you're cutting like this. I'll try to show you a little bit. I went right down the middle. You have more to hold on to. You have more to get stuff out of your way. Cut down one side of things first, then come around and do the other side to cut it down. Because one of the things that you can do when you get ready to go across here and come down is that you can cut, you could push this part out of your way because it could push down a little bit. And then you could come back over. It just helps to do the more stuff that's harder first. And that's what I do. This is the hardest part of this one. So start here. And then once you get all this little bit around the cups and the hands, then you can cut anywhere. So that just makes it quicker for doing it. And this is what it looks like when I got it all done. Like I said, I filled in these spots. I didn't cut them out. I filled them in. So, and then after that, I went ahead and I added dimensionals to the back of this this piece. Right here. I did hang the bench off a little bit and end up going and snipping it. So I take and I put this so that her feet are right at the base of the card. So some of this hangs off, very little. You don't have to do that, but that's where I liked it to hang. So then I just flipped it over and I just snipped anything that was hanging off. So that's how I did that. And then I went ahead and I took a scrap piece of paper here and I took the copper and the saying that was in there, coffee with two friends, something, I can't remember and I can't see it. And I stamped that down. I fussy cut it around it. I added a little bit of blue onto the card. It says coffee with a friend is happiness in a cup. That's what that says. And then I fussy cut it around it like I always do, and then I added it to the card. So that's how I did that one. Now I've got another one here. This is a great manly card. And this, I want to show you the difference in some of the bears that I did. This is back using the Wildlife Wonder set. And this bear here, I stamped him in the, what was it, Peacock. Then I colored him in Peacock Light. And I think he kind of gets a little lost. I mean, I could be wrong. So then I changed it up and I stamped this one, which I like him. He's done in the black. But if you look real close, the pad left streaks and I didn't like that. So I changed it up again. And I did this one, which now I think he might be a little too dark. But this is the one I ended up deciding that I liked the best, so this is the one I'm going to go with. But I'll show you how I did this one. So what you want to do is you want to get the bear stamp. And instead of stamping them like you normally do, because that's what's going to leave your marks, I rotated him like this. I kind of did this thing. So I didn't get the marks. I guess if you did it lighter, it might not come out as dark. I don't know. That's just how I did him. And then I brought him over here. I stamped him down. Light pressure. I didn't want to give him too hard of a pressure. And then pick him up. Now see, he even actually looks a little lighter in this one than he does in the other one. So maybe I pushed too hard. So it's all on pressure. So then what I did was I colored him in the peacock. I ended up changing up the color. I colored him in the peacock light. Went right over top of the black and everything. You want to give this a second to dry because you don't want it to muster all together. It doesn't take too long, but give it a second. Then I took my black and I found the eyeball here where the eye is, and I just dabbed it with a little, with the pointy end here. Then I took my gel pen and off to the side of the eye a little bit, I gave it a little dot. This is after I colored it. So I'll bring that up closer so you could see the little eye. Can you see the little eye, how I did that? So that's what I did. And then you would fussy cut them out, use the scan and cut, whatever you got. But then you do that. Add the dimensionals on the back. He was just walking from, like there's a path right here still maybe, or he's just going to fly through over the path and everything else. And so I stamped that there. Then on another piece of scrap paper with the word happy birthday that came out of the kit. It was in with this kit. And I stamped happy birthday. I fussy cut it around it. I stamped it in the copper clay. And I just added it to the top. Very quick cards. Very quick, but very, like, these are great manly cards. So these will be great to give out. So those are a bunch of options for the bears. So there is that card. Now the other card goes back to using the Coffee with Friends. This one was very easy to fussy cut out, and I really, really liked it. Let's see, make sure I'm in the camera now. And all I did for this one was I went ahead and I stamped her in the black, and I'll tell you the colors I used so you guys will know. I stamped her in the black, Memento ink. I did a lot of this ahead of time because I knew this was going to be a very, very long video, and I tried to shorten up a lot of this stuff. So I'm sorry I'm not finishing every single card, but it just makes it easier for me and you guys. So then I colored her in. I fussy cutted her out and I colored it in. Now there's one spot. I'm going to zoom you in so you could see this spot. It's right, get your brush end, and it's right here. There's this spot right there that is part of the, you want it to be part of the road. I was not going to fussy cut that piece out. So that's the piece right there. I'm going to zoom you back out again. Oh, sorry. Zoom you guys back out. and I'm going to tell you the colors that I colored her in. So her jeans are colored in the boho blue. Her flip-flops are colored in the petal path. Her shirt is colored in the wheat, wild wheat, and that's light. These are all light, by the way. Her hair is colored in the peacock light, and then her skin is colored in the SU 800, and then her cup is colored in the mauve light. I suggest when I did this, I colored the skin first. Then after I colored the skin, because sometimes if your pen is brand new, if you don't use your pens a lot, remember, don't get close to the edge of something because it will bleed. Let me show you. I'm going to change this shirt on this one, and I'm going to color it in Poppy. I use Poppy, but I don't use it as often as I do other colors. And so as I'm coloring along, oops, wrong end. As I'm coloring along with this, if I get real close to the edge of this, it's gonna, see, it's starting to bleed. I don't know if it's picking it up. See how it started to bleed? And I only did just a little bit. And that's because you're got a lot of alcohol in it, because they're alcohol markers, and they will bleed outward. So your best bet, if you don't use a marker a lot, is to leave a little bit of an edge around when you're coloring, to see how far it's going to go out, and then slowly work your way back in, even if you have to use the other end, because the more you do this like this, the less chance you have of it bleeding over into the other colors. I had that happen to me when I was using the skin tone, because I don't use it a whole lot, and it started to bleed a little bit onto my cup. So I mean, it was a skin tone, so it was going to be easy to cover up. So I ended up covering it up just with the mauve. You don't even know. But if it wasn't, if it was a darker color, then it might have been an issue. So you just want to make sure that you check out your markers. I always stamp 2 to 3 of my images that I'm going to do. And when I stamp them, I have one that I test colors on. So to figure out what I want to go together. And then I have one that I test it also to see if my marker is real juicy, and if I have to be more careful or mindful because I haven't used it a lot. So those are just some tips that I have learned when going along the way. The part that I would cut out first here would be between the legs, but really this is a very easy cut out. So talked cup, I looked at the cup. It's very easy to cut out. I did not cut the steam out, as you could see. I just left it off. Now for her, I did not end up putting any, what do you call it? I can't even think, my brain. Pop dots on the back of this. I did not put any pop dots on the back. I just ended up, I got these sticking out here. I just ended up using snail or liquid glue. And then I just kind of sat her on that rock like she was sitting down, enjoying the scenery. And then I just went ahead in the Balming Blue, or not Balming Blue, Boho Blue, the new in color, and I stamped Thinking of You right out of this kit. It's Thinking of You. And then I just sponged the outside a little bit in the blue to make it blend in. And that's all I did for this card. So there's that one, and I have one card left, and we've gone through all 7 cards. This one, I'm going to show you a little bit of stuff, so this one will be a little bit more intense, but this is the card. And you got to cut it down. So this is the petal path piece, and I did, this is 8.5 by 4 1/4, or by 5 1/2 scored at 4 1/4. So this is your base. Then you need a piece of black, And this black piece is at 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. That's what this black piece is measured at. Now these two are the same measurement. I just took a piece first of all and die cut it out. Doesn't matter the size of the piece, just die cut it out, then trim it down. You want, this one has to be at 3 1/2 by 5. So 3 1/2 by 5. And then this one also has to be at 3 1/2 by 5 so that they fit. Now, if the bottom one is a little bit smaller, it doesn't matter. Just as long as your top one covers the bottom one and it fits on here when you're done and shows an edge. So how did I color this white piece that I did to get it to look like this? This is what I did. First of all, you want to take your 2 pecan, light and dark, and we want to go ahead and we want to color all of these stems in. I took the dark first and I did all these upper ones like this. Let me see, can I zoom you in? Well, I don't want to zoom you guys in. I'll zoom you in a little bit, but I don't want to do too much. And then I went like this, and I kind of just did wherever I felt like there was a tree, like limb. And then right here, and I kind of made these all meet up in one place here, like this. And then I kind of came down here, kind of made the colors connect a little bit, and then I came up from the bottom and take the light and we're going to blend these two together. Blended them together. Then I like to hold it up because I'm working on white and sometimes you can't see, like, did I get all that? And sometimes I didn't. Like, in between, take your other end and check it out. Just do this to it. I'm not gonna, so that's how I did that. Then you're gonna get out Old Olive and Granny Apple Green. So we got Old Olive and Granny Apple Green. Get 2 sponge daubers. There's an Old Olive and a Granny Apple Green sponge dauber. Now, I'm going to try to leave this here and leave this here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to turn this like this first of all, and I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to start right here, and you're just going to go in a circular motion like this. This does take a little time. Keep doing what you want to do, where you want to add it darker, then add it darker, but keep blending, keep blending. If you get a little daub like I did right there, just keep going over and over in that area. It gives it like a darker look right there. And then come down through and just leave some white spots and just keep blending like so. And in between, you're going to grab and bring in the Old Olive, and we're going to go like in here, which is a little bit darker green. We're going to blend some into this. It takes a while. Okay, And then what I did was I went back with my two peacock colors, my light and my dark. And on my dark, I just kind of went over this just a little bit from the green, just in certain spots. I didn't do it all because I did like the color that it gave when it made them what they were. So I kind of like, I didn't do all of it. I just did certain areas. And then I went in with the light and I went right back down over top of all this. And it gave it a whole nother, like a fourth, third color, whatever you wanted to. And it just kind of touched this up a little bit from the green. You don't really see a lot of the green because the brown kind of hid most of it, but just in case you did, there's a lot right in there, then just go back over it. I could sit and fiddle, so I have to usually tell myself it's enough and be done. So that's usually what I do, is I say it's enough, it's done, and then I'm done with it. So then what you want to do is I went ahead and I took liquid glue and my tweezers over here, and I added liquid glue all around this. Now I do have my silicone mat. Let me get that out. Right there. Get that out of the way. Well, actually we're going to bring that back in. Let's flip it over, because I did get a little dab here on the outside. Then we're going to take this and we're going to set it down so that it covers the blue one. And you got to kind of work, because this glue, like, I don't know if that tweezers help me or not, because I'm off over here. Let me see if I could pick this up quick. Yep, okay. I didn't have a hold of it good with the tweezers. Line up the edge. Am I in the camera? No. Okay. Line up the edge right here. I'm sorry, guys. Line up the edge, and then you will be able to fit it down. So that's how I did it in the other one, but I didn't have a good grip on this with the tweezers. And for some reason, I have a little extra there hanging off. I don't know, maybe cutting measurements, whatever. And I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim that off, and voila, you don't even tell. So there we go. And now we're going to take this piece and we're going to put it on here, just like so. So, oops, got a lot there. This one ain't going to fall off. And then I'm going to put this right down here. I centered it on here, like that. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to put it on this one, which I want to give this another good score so it lays down flat. Now I did not center this completely on the top of this. You see how it's off centered on here? And I did that purposely. And I put it up here like this, about equal. Then I just stamped Happy Birthday from the kit in black, and then I added it right there to the bottom of the card. Let me zoom back out. Oh, wrong way. There we go. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this month's Paper Pumpkin. Thanks for subscribing to the Paper Pumpkin. If you'd like more information on how to subscribe to the Paper Pumpkin, the link is in the description box below. If you could like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next month with next month's Paper Pumpkin. Bye-bye.